Oh, it's coming through the speaker. I got it. Yeah. Yep.
Could you work with that?
Yep. I'm good. Sounds good. All right. All right, everybody, I think we're good to go. My name is WiiSuper, and this is LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga Any %. I am going to hop right into the run. Time is going to start when I press new game, so 3, 2, 1, go. All right, here we go. This run follows the original 6 Star Wars movies, and it has 6 levels per episode, and we're going to be playing through all of them, all 36 levels, as fast as possible, starting with Episode 1, Negotiations, the first level of the run. This is a pretty cool speed run. We do have a little unskippable cutscene at the beginning and end of every level, but that'll give me a little chance to kind of explain what's going on and, tell you what to expect in this level. So the first thing we're going to see in this level and in every level in the run that makes this a really cool game is that it's a co-op game, but I don't have anyone here with me, so I'm going to control both players on my own. And we'll get to see what that is in just a moment. So without further ado, with one player in my left hand and one player in my right hand, we are going to make our way through the first level, killing all the droids and going as fast as possible. And as you can see, this is a pretty simple 3D platformer. It was released back in 2007, and it basically is what you would expect for a licensed LEGO game. You basically just run around, you can attack, you can jump. But right here, I'm going to die with my first player, and they are going to explode and lose all their coins. And I actually want to try to finish this level with 0 of these coins, which are called studs. So I'm going to die with player 2 now, and they're going to lose all their studs. I'm going to drop them out and use this panel at the end of the level, kind of warp the characters over by jumping, and then hop into the ship. Oop, hold on. We got 10 studs on player 2, gotta lose that real quick, and we're finished with the level. The reason I want to finish with 0 studs is because at the end of the first level, you'll see these little cinematics play that tell you everything you collected in the level. And you'll see them right here. You see level complete, and you get a gold brick, and you get all this stuff. If I collect 0 studs, I don't have to watch it tell me that I got the studs. So it just skips that, saves 7 seconds. So that is the only level we have to do it in, though, because in the rest of the levels, we can just spam through them. But it doesn't let you do it for this level. So normally I would cancel my save there, because saving the game is slow. But for marathon safety, I'm just going to save the game. So now the game is going to auto-save at the start of every level. Coming into the second level here, we're going to see a pretty interesting trick if it works correctly, which hopefully it does. I'm going to come up to this tree, and if I backflip in the corner, I will start to sort of fly up it. And now, if I force the tree while on top of it, I will clip out of bounds. And now my first player is underneath the map, but when you're out of bounds in this game, you can just walk underneath the map. It doesn't stop you or anything, so I'm going to walk underneath the cutscene trigger and that puzzle back there and skip the entire first room, just like that. Here, you know, putting that 1P2C to the fullest use by having Jar Jar run ahead while the other player forces the platform. I'm going to attempt some pretty difficult jumps here. I missed the first one, but I'm going to attempt a backup. If I can't get it, I'm just going to force the platform. But yeah, there's some tough jumps here you can do to skip these little puzzles. I will attempt them here. The timing is pretty precise though, and okay, we got one. We missed the second one. We'll give it one more try. These are pretty frame tight, and this is a input delay that I'm not normally used to playing on, but we got the second one. There we go. Did die there. Dying loses 2 seconds, so I will try my best to avoid dying wherever possible, but you know, sometimes it's just really tough to avoid dying. And now that we're through that room, it is just a sprint to the finish. This is the final room, just come right through it, and that is second level complete. So we got another little cutscene here. The cutscenes in this game are pretty iconic for those who played it as a kid. Most notably the fact that the characters don't actually speak anything, they just kind of make grunting noises at each other. And a lot of people really like that. But unlike the first level, I can just spam click to get through all of the end level stuff. So it puts us right into the third level, which is Escape from Naboo. And like I said, there are 6 levels per episode, so this is the halfway point in the first of 6 episodes. But yeah, this level has a pretty cool kind of upwarp we're going to do at the start. And besides that, this is one of probably the simplest level in the run, actually. We're basically just going to run through it as fast as possible. But that's a good time. I guess I can talk about a couple things. So I am playing on the PC version, which is the fastest because it loads faster. There's a couple very minute platform differences, which I won't get super into. But here's this upwarp. If you jump underneath this door frame, you just clip up. And that's a nice little 2-second time save that lets you take a faster line there. I'm going to grab this blue orb here. This is a power-up. Power-ups in this game are really, really overpowered. When you pick one up, your character's invincible and can force faster, build faster. It just makes them superhuman. So I'm going to be picking up quite a few power-ups throughout the run. It'll eventually run out right here, but that helped us not die to the droids back there. So right here, I'm going to come to this little area here, shoot this plant right here, because it has a power-up again, and run right past all of these droids. Normally, you need to ride up these elevators to shoot these targets, but for the targets on the right, I'm just going to shoot them from the left side. The auto-target with the blasters in this game is really, really overpowered, which allows you to hit some like crazy jump shots and hit stuff from places you're not supposed to hit it from, which we will see a great example of in 2 levels. So right here, I called in my second player, and I switched characters right when I pressed that button. Normally when you press that button, it kind of freezes you in place and shows you this door opening over here. But by switching characters right when that starts to play, it just interrupts it, and you don't have to watch it. So a nice little small time save there too. And that is the third level complete, so we are halfway done with the first episode. All right, on to the fourth level of episode 1, a pretty iconic level, the pod race. And depending on what game you played growing up, this level was either really, really easy or really, really hard. This game I'm playing, LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga, is a sort of remaster of LEGO Star Wars the video game and LEGO Star Wars 2, the original trilogy. And in LEGO Star Wars the video game, the pod race level was really, really, really challenging and really, really punishing. But in this game, it's really, really easy. And the game doesn't instantly kill you if you touch a pebble. So because of that, we can actually like run into walls and stuff, which we are going to use to do a really, really, really broken trick. So look forward to that. So this is our first example of what the game considers to be a ship level, but this is like hybrid ship level because it's nothing like any of the other ones. But for now, I'm just kind of racing through. I know what the fastest route is on the track, of course. I'm going to try to avoid bumping into this guy. Very nice. We're just sort of going to race through this first lap. But as we come into this final canyon here, I'm going to kind of not go the expected route. So we are going to cut off to the left, go into the rocks, call in player 2, call in player 1, and we are now outside the map. I'm going to have player 2 zoom ahead at tremendous speed and activate the second lap. Now I'm going to drop them out. Player 1 is still out of bounds. And for some reason, when you're out of bounds, you just start picking up tremendous amounts of speed. And I'm going to call on player 2 to hit the mid-lap checkpoint and then wrap player 1 around to hit the end of the lap. And that is how you skip the second lap of pod race. A pretty huge time save and a pretty cool looking trick. And that trick could be pretty punishing if you miss it, so I'm pretty glad that I got that one. So if it isn't clear already, this game is really, really broken, and that is just the start of a lot of the cool out-of-bounds glitches and crazy things that we're going to see. So we are now on the third lap, which is the final lap of the race, and since there's not another lap, it wouldn't really make much sense to set up the lap skip again. However, because you get that speed boost when you're out of bounds, I'm actually just going to clip out again and do the movement once more to have player 2 zoom ahead to the end of the track, and there we go. So that is the pod race finished, and we're about to head into a bit of a longer level after this one. Alright, so this is the 5th level where you take the palace. It has a bit of a longer opening cutscene, so good chance to kind of chill for a bit. But once we get in, this level is probably, from a like really competitive perspective, one of the most sort of in-depth levels, it's really, really challenging to play it fast. I'm going to be playing it pretty safe in this run, but there's still a lot of things that can go wrong, and there's a lot of places I can lose time, and a lot of really, really difficult 1B2C we're going to get to see. Alright, so we're about to hop into the level here. So right off the bat, I'm going to have my player 2 switch to R2-D2 while player 1 attacks this tree and gets a power-up. And you can push droids in this game, just like that. You don't want to push them too far, though, or they'll become like confused and can't move. So I just give him little pushes to get go a little bit faster, so he can use the panel and open the door for me. Drop him out, they don't need him anymore, and force these platforms. In this next room, we gotta press all of these buttons, and normally it wants you to kill these enemies, but if you do it just right, you can stand on the button and deflect the bullets while all your teammates step on the buttons. That was really good. And got through that room with no problem at all. Here, I'm getting really far ahead of my team, but this is like a good example of how the team kind of warps towards you. So I'm going to attack this statue and call on player 2, and normally he'd be really, really far back there, but they kind of just warp closer to you, so it's not really much of an issue. Here, this is one of the harder two-player strats in this level. So I'm going to be controlling both players. I meant to kill more of those droids, but that's okay. And I'm going to ride up this elevator here to get up to this upper section. And normally you would need more of your team to complete this puzzle here, but there's a little skip we can do by putting one Jedi on top of this box and then having the other Jedi force it up to press this button, skipping the puzzle in this section. So here I'm going to do a skip called a transition skip, where if you kill a player up against one of the transitions that leads you to the previous room, when they respawn, you can push them through it. And that is one of the ways of getting out of bounds. And we are now going to go underneath the map and just run all the way to the end of the room, just like that. This room, we're just going to run past all the droids. They don't concern us, so we ignore them. And if you remember how I talked about those camera pan skips from earlier, how when you switch characters, when the camera starts to pan, normally it freezes you in place, but I can keep interrupting these camera pans by switching characters. And while I'm doing that with player 2, with player 1, I'm jump-shotting these droids up at the top of the room to free the guards. And this is what I was talking about, how auto-targeting in this game is really overpowered. So this last guy, I'm going to jump, shoot, and the bullet is just going to focus right up on him. So normally you have to do all these puzzles to get up to the droids and kill them, but you can just jump-shot them. And now we are just going to use this panel at the end of the level, and that's all we got to do. Alright, level 5 complete. So we are on to the final level of episode 1. And it is the fight against Darth Maul, and there are some cool little movement skips in this level. And the one at the start of the level saves a lot of time. So as you can see, Darth Maul is going to take this bridge and take it away, making a massive gap separating us and him. But by using some weird collision underneath this lamp, this might take me a couple tries, but we can get on top of the lamp. Oh, dang, that was close. There we go. And we jump across. Nice. And that skips that first fight. Try to ride this cart as far as we can, a little bit faster than walking. And now this room has some really, really weird collision on this wall, so we can just jump up to this upper section, which allows us to take a bit of like a tighter line and skip forcing some platforms, which is nice. Like normally you're not supposed to be up here, but until later on, but we can get up there now. And we're gonna come into here, and Darth Maul is going to run away again. And in order to get back to him, we have to kill all these droids. So player 2 is going to run over there and kill that droid, and I'm going to drop him out because the game is not a split screen game, so you can't really move your players too far apart. So if I tried to keep them in, I would not be able to move player 1 over here as soon as I did. So we're going to just use force to kill all the droids, and there you go. Now these droidicas are going to come up, and we have to kill them too. I'm going to use this power-up to help me out, because as you... Yep, that's what power-ups do. Shred through the droidicas. There we go. And call our second player back in, control both of them at the same time once more to force these levers at the same time. And this is like a 1P2C that saves a lot, because if you have your CPU playing as player 2, they are very, very slow to force these levers. I can just do them in sync. Here I'm going to try to do a frame perfect, really tough trick where if I... Nice. So if I attack Darth Maul with both characters at the exact same frame, meaning I need to jump on the same frame and attack on the same frame, they will, Darth Maul will not jump away like he normally does. Nice little 5-6 second time save, I think. Do the final hits here, and there we go. So that is the first episode done, and you may think that this episode only took 20 minutes, so this run should take only 2 hours. However, the first 3 episodes are a lot shorter than 4, 5, and 6, so that's why the run is as long as it is. But now that we're done with the first level, all of the other episodes are unlocked. So we could go to 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. So that gives us a few options. However, the next episode we're going to go to is episode 2. So basically, still going in order at this point. And the reason we're going to episode 2 is not because it's the second episode and it's after the first one, but rather because there's a red brick, which is an item you can pick up that sort of powers up your character. There's one in every level, and they each give a different sort of effect. There's one in episode 2 that is the most broken in the game. So we want to get that as soon as possible. And it's going to be in the 5th level. I'll touch more on that when we get there. But that is the reason why we're going to episode 2. After a dramatic ending to the first episode. So in sections like these, you see player 2 is closer to the door, so they're the player that's going to go. So I kind of know which player is going to be closer in each room. So in the first room, player 1's closer, so they're my focus. In the second and third room, player 2 is closer, so that's the character I focus on there. And now we're in episode 2, and this is going to be our first example of a real ship level, because Pod Race was not really representative of what they normally play as. But this is a really tough 1P2C challenge. And in this first room, I'm just flying. There's really nothing else for you to do. And I'm going to be flying with both players here, and I don't actually need both players in here. So you may be wondering, like, why are you playing with both players? And it's because it takes 0.7 seconds to drop out. So why would I drop out when I could just play with both of them? So yeah, the reason I'm playing with two players here is literally just to save the 0.7 seconds from dropping out, because you don't need two players to do this section. It doesn't save any time. However, where I do need two players is this next room, and this is like a true demonstration of sort of the progression of 1P2C in this game and what it's reached at this point, because I'm just going to be independently controlling each ship, like shooting these turrets and hitting these lights on the floor to activate the torpedo dispenser here to destroy these shield generator things. And there we go. That's the first of two of those sort of sections. That one had only 6 targets. The next room is going to have 12, so even more complicated. So here we go into the second section, and this time, like I said, we have 12 shield generators to destroy, but before that, we got to destroy the 12 turrets and hit the 4 white lights coming out of the floor, because that is how we get the torpedoes to destroy the targets. So, hit those 2 lights. There's a power-up on the floor here. I'm going to grab player 1, while player 2 is on the right, hits that light, while player 1 goes left and hits that light. We got it? Nice. There we go. And now it's time for the boss fight with Zam Wessel. However, I'm just going to spam the attack button as fast as possible. And boss fight finished. It was a really, really close fight, really, really intense, but, you know, we just barely came out on top. So, we move on. First level of episode 2 complete. It is now time for Discovery on Camino. Second level. I guess if I'm being honest, out of every level that I'm going to play in this run, this is the level where I'm going to be doing the least amount of like world record level strats in. There's a bunch of cool little strats in this level that are really punishing if you miss them. But if you want to watch the world record run on speedrun.com, you can get a good demonstration of what this level has to offer. For now, though, the first trick we're going to do is to skip this little bridge repair puzzle. I'm going to line the camera up, and with a really, really precise fly, I can get across this gap with R4 and skip fixing the bridge. Yeah, first try there, and now we are going to press some buttons with 2 players, because it's faster than 1. And have R4 wait right at the door they need to go. And this is sort of what the smaller elements of 1B2C is really like a very common term we use is the bottleneck, or like whatever's going to take you longest. So in this instance, the bottleneck of this room is R4 using this panel to open the door. So I'm going to make sure R4 is like my #1 focus here, and like pushing them ahead and everything. And now I'm going to drop them out because I don't need them anymore. And we are supposed to go into this door right here, but we're not going to because we can skip that. By going to the end of this room and jumping in this corner, it tricks R4 into thinking that you are in the room to my right. So I can just call him in as player 2, and he's in the room, and we skip that whole section there. And similarly, with these bombs, normally you need to kind of bait them and then jump back, but you can jump around them as well. So I'm just kind of on the edge. And Django through. And here I can't do anything until he finishes his whole sequence of like going up the elevator and everything. This button just doesn't press. But there we go. Once he's through, it lets us press it. And now we can open the elevator ourselves and head up. Here, R4 is going to move forward because there's a panel that he needs to use. But I'm going to grab a power up with player 1, but they're just going to catch up because they're faster than R4, so I can force the blocks, and R4 can use the panel. And now that we are in the boss fight with Jango Fett, you're going to see the heart bar appear. However, I'm not going to spam attacks. I'm going to wait till he stands up, because if you attack him too early, he'll become invulnerable for a few seconds to sort of prevent you from just like spamming him. So I kind of, oh, see right there, he shot too early and I deflected the bullet and it didn't do damage. Here he's going to shoot rockets, but if I just spam the heck out of the force button, the rocket spawns inside of him. So before it even gets a chance to fly through the air, it just instantly hits him if I spam the force button fast enough. So do it again, and then one final hit, and there we go. So that is the second level complete. Got a pretty long 2 cutscenes here. I'm going to take a sip of water. And we're going to make our way into the 3rd level of the run. So here we go, heading into the next cutscene. A interesting cutscene. And I will just stop talking so you can just watch it. Doorbell. Alrighty. Into Droid Factory. This is another one of these levels that isn't super broken, similar to the third level. We're just going to kind of run through it. The big thing is we want to try to avoid dying. There's a couple places where it's kind of tough. First one here, this droideka, I think his name's Frederick. We're going to run right past him. Very nice. Didn't get shot once. Here. So here we need to shoot these two targets. However, I can actually shoot the right target from the left side, like this, and then I will jump into this bucket. And there's a, oh, spaz out, all right. There's a cool little skip here where I can fly off the bucket early. Instead of dropping down to this lower section, I can just fly across here and skip it entirely. I think the developers knew that you could do this because they put a set of bombs at this R2 panel that you normally need to destroy with someone who's not R2. But you can just use the panel through the bombs, so, I mean, they tried. Oh well. So into this room here, we need to get C-3PO to the other side. There's no way to skip this, we just have to force the platforms. I mean, it is what it is. Call him in, give him a little push, and continue onwards. We're down to 1 heart, player 1. Hopefully they don't die. Oh, dang it. So I'm going to try to do another camera pan skip. Player 2 is going to run into the camera pan skip. I'm going to have player 1 switch. Okay. And I'm going to have R2 use this panel and have player 1 switch to 3PO and then drop out. And I'm going to pan the camera down while moving down, all with one hand, which kind of is awkward, but and then call in 3PO. Okay, I died, but that's fine. 3PO called in. Now we can use that panel and head into the final room. I'm going to push R2 a little bit, use that panel. And now this final section has all sorts of enemies, but thankfully this bomb has a power-up in it. So I'm just going to ignore all of them, because I am invincible now. So I can free Obi-Wan. Just like that. So we are now on to the 4th level of episode 2, which is Jedi Battle, and this is the first level that introduces a pretty big RNG element. So first, I need to free all of our teammates from these pillars here by killing waves of droids. And the way the droids move around and whatnot can have a little bit of variance, but it's not really like the biggest part of the level. However, the second part of the level, we need to play a game of hide and seek with some droids, and I will explain it when we get there. For now, though, we're going to clear out these droids. I have sort of a method to clear them out as consistently as possible. But here I'm going to use 2 players to help kill the droids a little bit faster. So player 2 is going to be shooting bullets, while player 1 is the Jedi will pick up the power up and attack the droidekas. There we go. Here I'm going to get the power up on player 2 as well, so they're both powered up now, because every single one of these bombs has a power up in it, which is really nice. Clear out all these enemies. One more of that. Alright. And now it's time for hide and seek, where I need to find the 6 red droids in this massive pack of droids in the middle. Alright, let's see. Oh, okay, there's 2 here. That's pretty lucky. Oh, 1 behind me. Very nice. 1 right there. Oh, and the last 2 are right here. Very, very lucky for the first wave. Now it's time for the second wave. Alright, let's see what we got here. 1 droid here. Oh, Super Battle Droid number 1. Running around. Alright. Oh, they're all here. Nice. Alright, that was pretty lucky. And now we just have a fight with Jango Fett where we are literally just going to shoot him 10 times. I guess kind of a fun fact is it actually is possible in that RNG section to basically predetermine where they're going to spawn and know where they're going to spawn. However, in order to do that, it matters what you do previously in the run and has to do with like setting a correct RNG seed. And it's done in the world record run, it's just not really viable for me to do in this no reset setting here. But it is possible to know exactly where all the droids are going to spawn by playing the run in a very, very specific way up to this point. But for me, it was just completely random. But there we go, 4th level done. Time for the 5th level. And this is a pretty short level. This is Gunship Cavalry. And I'm gonna move my right hand on top of my left hand to help me spam really, really fast because I need to kill these enemies. So normally I need to tow 2 of these bombs here to destroy this barrier. But by destroying just the right side, the hitbox becomes small enough that I can just roll around the outside. And this is the red brick that I was talking about, just sitting on the ground here. So we picked it up, now we can buy it later on. This is how we skip the second barrier, by literally just calling player 2 on the rock and just flying around it. And now in the end room, we need to destroy these shield things. So I have a very specific route. I'm taking these bombs. And I'm just spamming my attack button as fast as possible to make sure that none of these droids get in my way because they will take the hit of your bomb, which can be really, really annoying if, if they do. Here, this is the final bomb we need. Destroy this one, and bomb the targets, and there we go. Very nice. Like I said, that is a pretty short level. So blasting right through that one. And we're on to the final level of episode 2. And we're going to see another out of bounds in this level right at the start. And it's a pretty big time save, but it's also one try. So I'm going to call in player 2 here again. Kill these droids, and by standing on this barrel and forcing it, you just instantly go out of bounds, so that's cool. Now we're going to run underneath the floors, passing by a trigger, and then call on player 2 while they're running into that door, and it warps us right into the fight. And it skips a section where Count Dooku like shuts the door and you have to reopen it. So nice little time save there. And now we're in the fight. This fight is really, really scripted. It's basically the same every time. We force these barrels back into him, and then a cutscene plays, and then we hit him 3 more times, and then he shoots lightning. It's the same every time. So this is a pretty consistent level. But here we go. Anakin has lost his hand, so he is out of business, but this is a two-player game, so Yoda is going to come in to save the day. Once again, timing my attacks, not spamming, because he will become invincible for a brief period if I attack too fast. Here he's going to shoot the lightning at player 1 every time, so player 2 will be the one that attacks him, because player 1 can't get close when he's being electrocuted. So 3 hits, and now just the final 4. And there we go. That is episode 2 complete. And we picked up that red brick in the 5th level. And in order to get the actual ability from the red brick, you have to buy it from the shop. So on our way to the next episode, we're gonna do that. But real quick, we need to watch the final cutscene of the episode. It's a pretty short one, but it'll put us back in the cantina, which is the hub world of this game, and we'll go over to the shop, buy our red brick, I'll explain what it does, and we'll be on to our next episode. And if you remember, like I said, after beating episode 1, every single episode unlocks. So we went to episode 2 next. However, after episode 2, we're going to go to episode 4, not episode 3. And the reason, once again, is there's a red brick in episode 4 that is very useful for the rest of the run. So here's the shop. I'm gonna buy that red brick, which is exploding blaster bolts. Whoops. Now that is good to go. We're gonna head into episode 4. And like I said, the original trilogy, episodes 4, 5, and 6, are a bit longer than the prequels. This first level is about 6 minutes long, a bit over 6 minutes. And we have a really, really loud cutscene. This cutscene is just unbelievably loud for no reason. So one thing you're going to see when we get into episode 4 is that the original trilogy levels were definitely designed with cooperative play more in mind. So there's a lot of instances like this where there's 2 things that need to be built, or 2 levers that need to be pulled, and it's all possible to do with 1 player, of course. But with 2 players in, there's a lot of cool multitasking that you can do in these episodes. This power up here, I'm going to try to delay picking up because I'm going to use it to build something in this next room. So I'm going to build this piece right here with the power up, and build the rest of this one with the power up. Jump a little early. There we go. And now we're going to turn on the exploding blaster bolts extra that I bought from the shop. And as you can see, my blaster bolts now explode dramatically whenever I shoot. And for example, for that bomb, you normally need to shoot that bomb like 5 or 6 times, but if you shoot it once, it just instantly blows up. And we got a pack of enemies here. Why shoot them all individually when the splash damage can just hit them all? It's really, really powerful. And it also allows for a couple skips as well, which we'll get to see in a bit. So this extra saves minutes and minutes throughout the run, and that is why we rush going to episode 2 to get it as fast as possible. Intentionally die here because you're invulnerable for a brief period of respawning, which just helps me get through those enemies quickly. And that brings me to the fact that exploding blaster bolts, while it is really powerful, you do have to be careful because if you are too close to where you shoot, you will blow yourself up as well and die. So a pretty important skill is knowing how to manage your blaster bolts correctly. So coming up here, a cool little skip with this crane. You normally need to lower that bridge to the right, but if I walk off the edge with 3PO the same time I use the crane, I can grab 3PO early and get him over to this panel without doing any of the puzzle in this room. So just blast right through that room. Here, I gotta clear out these enemies. So player 1 is going to be a rebel, clearing out the enemies. Player 2 I have his R2. I'm going to start moving a little bit ahead. And one thing you may notice, actually, I forgot to mention this, is that my player 1's hearts are not there. If you look in the top left, their hearts are just gone. That is a glitch called Ghost Hearts, where if you die with one character right as another character loads a new room, your hearts become sort of blank like this, and it makes you invincible, which is really, really nice. So I did that so I didn't really need to worry about dying to any of the blaster bolts there. You lose the effect when you switch characters, but we're good at this point, and I used the panels, and that is level complete. Alrighty, we're going to hop right into the second level, which brings us into the Junlin Wastes. And this level has a lot of really cool platforming. It's definitely one of the hardest levels in the first half of the run. And I'm going to be going for basically every hard strat except for like one that saves a couple seconds. But alongside that, we are going to be collecting the second red brick of the run, which is in this level. And this one is actually a little bit out of the way, but that's okay because it saves so much time that it is actually worth it to go a little bit out of the way just to grab it. And this red brick is fast force, which makes you force stuff faster. Big surprise there. And you force a lot of stuff in the run. So grabbing this now and being able to use it for the final 3 episodes is about a 15-second time save. So may as well do it. So right off the bat here, I'm going to have player 1 shoot this rock, bring it down, and then drop them out and switch them to the Jedi, Ben Kenobi. And the red brick is in this first room here. And in order to get it, we're going to do a cool little out-of-bounds strat. So normally this sort of ramp right here at the end of the room with the slope, when you reach the top of it and run forward, that'll normally take you to the next room. But if we force this satellite dish here and jump on top of it, we can jump over the door that leads to the next room, like over the hitbox of it and get out of bounds. Do some tough movement here. Just missed it. Let's try it again. There we go. And now navigate out of bounds. Oh, okay. Well, I messed that up. Let's try that again. Okay, navigate out of bounds to the red brick. Go ahead and snag it through the wall. I'm gonna die because when you walk out of bounds, your respawn point doesn't follow you. It just stays on the last solid ground you touched. So that's right by the door to the next room. So I just die, respawn, and we're in the next room. This jump here skips building a box. It's super, super easy. And right here, little micro time save. I'm gonna jump on and off this bantha here, just to kind of get thrown forward a little bit. And here is a really, really tough jump. Let's see if I can get it. There we go. By doing a double jump slam perfectly timed, you can hit the door in that hole there. Normally you need to activate like a suction tube by completing a puzzle on the side of the sandcrawler, but we can skip all that just by doing a well-timed double jump slam there. And I do a double jump slam attack because the slam attack gives you a little height boost at the peak of your jump. So I'm going to free R2 here, and now we got to press these buttons, which once again we're going to do them at the same time. We're going to kind of kill some of these Jawas in the next room early here. And then, because the Jawas like to zap R2, and then he can't move if that happens. So, got to make sure to kill them all. Gonna have 3PO free him, use that panel. Open this door here, and we're on to the outside portion. We're going to do some cool little jumps on this collision to skip these quicksand puzzles. So normally you need to drain these quicksand pits to progress, but by jumping on some kind of glitchy collision here, we can jump up here, and then jump across, skip the first quicksand pit, and then we can skip the second quicksand pit as well, of course. This one's kind of goofy. So for this one, you can just run around the outside like this. Like, I don't know how I'm not dying here, but I'll take it. And now in this final room here, we need to build this speeder and repair a bridge, but we're not going to repair the bridge. We're going to put R2 on top of the speeder and then ride across. And we're going to do a glitch called speeder clipping, where by pushing a character with the speeder at the correct angle, they just clip right through the wall, and we can skip opening the door and end the level just like that. So there you go. That level has a lot of really, really tough jumps, and it's a lot of tough platforming. So it is a pretty scary level in the early game, but we are through it now, onto the third level of episode 4, which is going to be Mos Eisley Spaceport. Alrighty, and if you remember like 80 seconds ago how we did a clip with the speeder, well, we're going to do another one, but this one is way, way harder and a lot more precise. And I'm going to try to do a setup for it. We're going to try to clip through this garage door here. Oh, I just need to get Obi-Wan in the front of the speeder. And if I turn just the right way, there we go. We'll clip right through. And this is an example of how exploding blaster bolts is really broken. So normally to break that wall there, you have to build an entire like walker which takes a really long time, and then shoot it with that walker. But with exploding blaster bolts, you can just shoot it and it just instantly destroys itself. So really, really nice and saves a lot of time. So we're gonna head into the cantina here, and we got a cutscene. Alrighty. Let's hop into the game again. We are playing as Han Solo now, and spamming jump rolls is the fastest way to move as him. And it's actually really, really fast. So here we're going to see another example of how exploding blaster bolts is really broken. So normally on this checkerboard track, you have to push a bomb over to this metal door. But with exploding blaster bolts, just shoot a bullet and the door just blows up. So here, I'm going to head into the final room. And normally in the final room, you have to fight the Imperial spy. However, the trigger that starts that fight only extends so far. So I'm going to switch R2, put him into position, and drop him out. And I'm going to force him past the trigger. And just call him in once he's past the trigger. And I'll never start the spy fight, and I could just walk into the Falcon and end the level early. Normally, when you walk into that trigger, the door to the Falcon will shut and the fight will start. But for whatever reason, the door is open before the fight starts. So by skipping that trigger and never starting the fight, you can just leave the level early. You're sort of just like stealing the Falcon, I guess. And that skip saves over a minute. Here we go. Level 3 done. So halfway done episode 4. And as you can see, it is taking a little bit longer than the first 2 episodes, but that's all good. So this is level 4, Rescue the Princess, and we are going to start right off the bat with an out-of-bounds strat to skip the first room. This one is kind of hard to explain how it works, but basically they just left a gap in between a kill plane and an invisible wall that I'm gonna just slip right into to get out of bounds, and you'll see what I mean in a second. So I'm gonna head into this little side room here, and with Ben, I'm gonna slide down and cut back in at the perfect time, and I avoid dying and I avoid hitting an invisible wall. I slip right into a little pocket to get me out of bounds, and I run right into this door and jump into it. There we go. Very nice. So here, Obi-Wan runs off to the right. But we can't go to the right. We have to go to the left. And what should happen is Obi-Wan should show up and force a bridge for us, which hopefully that happens. Sometimes he doesn't like to show up, but I do have a backup strat if that happens. If he's not going to show up, I just spam the heck out of the pause button, and that will free him. So he gets stuck is what happens. So that should free him up, and he should come in just a second, hopefully. I could try it again. Come on, get unstuck. Because I can't progress if he doesn't show up. There he is. So now we can continue. Thank you, Obi-Wan, for being very, very quick. So here I'm going to get a helmet, which, if I do it correctly, it'll actually... it didn't work. Okay, well, it was supposed to de-aggro the troopers. Okay, there's one behind me. That's... okay. As long as I got to that helmet checkpoint, that's all that mattered. So this is an example of a helmet escort section where I need to put a helmet on and reach the end of the room and use the panel. But if I get shot a single time, I will lose said helmet. So I have player 2 just kind of holding onto the helmet down there. It looks like the troopers did de-aggro. When you're wearing a helmet, sometimes they will not aggro on you because they think you're one of them. But the second I start building, they realize, oh wait, he is a bad guy or good guy. So they start attacking you. I'm gonna build these pieces here and open the door and head to the end. And we're gonna rescue the princess. Princess is in this cell. You can open all of them, but this is the one with the princess, so we're not going to open any of the other ones. So that is level 4 complete of episode 4. We did have a little bit of issues with Obi-Wan deciding to not show up, but that is iconic at this point. So what can you say? So here we go, on to the 5th level, which has one of the bigger skips in the game, but it's a little bit hard to explain. I will try to explain it to the best of my ability when I get there. But for now, in this first room, this level is the ultimate helmet escort level. So I need to take a helmet from the very first room to the level all the way to, like, way farther in the level, and there's enemies everywhere. And I have a pretty, like, sort of set out route that I plan on taking to ensure that I don't get shot, but disasters can always happen. So hopefully we can keep our helmet. So this is where we get the helmet. I'm gonna have Chewie run ahead and kill these guys. So the nice thing about Han is that if you are just spamming the attack button, if an enemy tries to shoot at you, you'll see he kind of just dodges it, which is a nice way to avoid getting shot. So these 5 buttons here that I just ran across, you normally need a vehicle. You can't run across all 5 of them as a character, but by using 2 players, you can just press all 5 by having one press 3 and one press 2. That's enough time that the lights don't turn off. That is actually the first 1P2C strat ever discovered in this game, was doing that. And now we're here 1P2Cing like the whole run. So here I'm killing these enemies, making sure I don't get shot. 1 bullet is all it takes to lose my helmet. So here I'm going to stand still in case they try to shoot me, so I would dodge it. Pull these levers. I'm going to actually turn exploding blaster bolts off because this next section is really, really scary and very close quarters. This is the most stressful part about keeping my helmet. So I need to build this elevator here, and the troopers will aggro when I do that, so I'm just going to kill them. And hopefully, if everything goes right, they'll just de-aggro once more, and I should be good. Okay, they did aggro, but I got the panel off, so that's fine. So I'm gonna run into this next room here, and instead of progressing the level as normal, I'm actually gonna start backtracking, which may seem counterintuitive, but it actually is part of this massive time save. So by entering that grapple room, I have loaded in the final room of the level, and now I'm going to run far enough back that I deload it, and by loading it, deloading it, and then reloading it, it causes some buggy stuff to happen, and I can end the level early, which you'll get to see in a second. I just need to get a new helmet, because unfortunately I did lose mine. This is the final helmet check of the run, though, or of this level. So we're gonna come through this room, and we're gonna come to the end room. And normally, in the final room of the level, you need to do a really, really long puzzle where you need to do 3 separate things to raise the Millennium Falcon out of the ground, and then kill a bunch of enemies, and it's really long. You have to do all sorts of stuff, and then you can enter the Falcon and leave the level. But by doing that whole deloading thing I did earlier, the trigger for the end of the level is just active early on top of this pit. I can just jump right into it, and the level is complete. That's all you gotta do. So that is a huge time save. It brings us right into the final level of episode 4. So this is the final level of episode 4, which is a ship level. This is Rebel Attack. And this level is once again pretty convoluted in terms of the 1B2C. I need to destroy a bunch of torpedo targets, and I need to refill my ships on the torpedo dispensers and shoot the targets, and it's a lot of stuff to focus on, especially with 2 players. With 1 player, it's really, really easy. With 2 players, which makes it twice as fast, it becomes a lot more challenging. Right off the bat here, we have 2 players in, gonna come to this torpedo dispenser, wrap around, and then while waiting for the barrier to go down, grab a couple torpedoes. Player 2 died right before I loaded the next room, and they lost all of their torpedoes. That's okay, I'll just start refilling them here. I'm gonna have to grab a couple extra torpedoes because of that, but it's okay. That barrier to open. There we go. And this is room 3 skip coming up here. There's a little gap in the collision that I'm going to slip right through if I can do it correctly. Let's try one more time. There we go. A little gap in the collision right in between the door to the previous room and the wall. And I can just go right through it and skip that 3rd room. it's time to hold the forward key. Pretty crazy stuff. Holding the forward key is pretty crazy. Ooh. If you actually hold any directions there, you will get shot and die. All right, final room. We're going to destroy these turrets with 2 players, of course. Oh, I died. Hold on. And hit the center target, and that is episode 4 complete. So if you remember, so we'll have this cutscene play for the end of this level, but then there'll be that episode 4 finished story cutscene that sort of concludes the entire episode. However, the game actually saves before that cutscene. And that cutscene for episode 4 is really, really long, and it's actually faster for me to just close and reopen the game. So after this cutscene plays and the game saves, I'm just going to close and reopen the game, and it's a pretty big time save because it skips needing to watch that cutscene. So this cutscene's over, and wait for the game to save. I'll know when the game has saved when the cutscene starts playing. So right now, going to close the game, reopen it. And there we go. The game is reopened, and we can head right back into our save file without needing to watch the cutscene. And if you remember, in the second level of episode 4, we grabbed that Fast Force red brick. So now is our chance to buy it and use it for the rest of the run. And now we've completed episodes 1, 2, and 4. Up next is episode 6, because for the same reason as going to episode 4 early, there's a red brick in episode 6 that I want for episodes 3 and 5. So this is sort of the halfway point of the run. I'm done with 3 episodes. I have 3 episodes left. So I guess I will kind of reintroduce a few things if anyone is just now coming in. So the big thing to look out for in this run is 1P2C, or 1 player 2 controllers. I'm controlling 1 player with each of my hands. One on the WASD and one on the arrow keys. And that's sort of the big part about this run and what to look out for. So for anyone just coming in now, I figured I would explain that again. So yeah, now we're into episode 6, which I believe is the longest episode. So right off the bat here, we have to open this door by destroying the eyeball scanner things. So I'm gonna have Chewie destroy this one. And activate these 2, and then work together. And there we go, door's open. So Leia's gonna run ahead. Chewbacca, I'm gonna have built a speaker here. This just de-aggroes the guards because they start jamming out rather than trying to attack you. And here, because I restarted the game, I have to turn on exploding blaster bolts again, and also going to turn on Fast Force. So now our extras are on, and we're good to go there. And our good friend Luke is here, so we're going to call him in to defend us, because this is another helmet escort where I need to keep my helmet to use that panel. And now I'm going to build this platform here. This is the first example of forcing something with fast force. And of course, if you haven't seen this game before, you don't know how slow this would be without fast force, but that is fast. If I drop out here right when a camera pan starts to play, it doesn't play for some reason, so that's a little time safe. And with exploding blaster bolts, I can open this gate really, really fast. Normally you have to shoot each of those 4 bolts on each side individually, but with the exploding effect, they all just get insta-killed. So here, I'm going to force this random object here while player 1 is standing in the corner. If I do it right, it'll just get pushed out of bounds. And now that we're out of bounds, we're going to skip this whole crazy puzzle here and just walk right to the next room. And coming up here, we're going to do yet another out of bounds to skip this room by forcing this platform up and down to push Chewie out. This trick is really precise. There we go. First try, very nice. So that platform just pushes us out of bounds, and now we're going to run all the way to the final room of the level. And for whatever reason, normally you need to use a helmet checkpoint to get to the end of the level, but if you jump up into this grate here, it just warps you to the final room of the level. And that skips a cutscene too. I don't know why that door is there. There's no instance where you would ever be able to hit it without being out of bounds, but it's there, so we can get to the end fight without watching the cutscene or using the helmet checkpoint. So now this is a Rancor fight. It's a pretty scripted fight where I just need to attack these bombs. After the Rancor grabs the Gamorrean guards, he sort of runs to the corner to try to eat it. And then for the third heart here, we're going to shut the gate on him. And there you go. First level of episode 6 down. So the cutscenes in episode 6 are pretty long as well. But on to the second level, the Great Pit of Carcoon. And hopefully, if you've ever seen the Star Wars movies, these cutscenes have some sort of recognition to them. They kind of, they stay kind of close to the actual movies, except for episode 3, because the cutscenes for episode 3 were made before the movie came out, so we'll see that those are not perfect. But hopefully, if you've seen episode 6, that you know this scene. Well, I mean, maybe not when he does backflips on the plank, but they gotta have some fun. All right. So right off the bat, we're gonna start as Lando, but we're gonna switch to Lucas. Do a little jump here. Oh, we can skip extending out this first platform. And just get right to the second ship. And we're going to switch to Han now for the Boba Fett fight. Really, really quick fight. Just gonna do rolls into combo attacks. Oh, one more hit. All right. Okay, I'm gonna shoot these guys here and then switch to Luke. Force this platform. And now there are 3 platforms that you need to extend to get to the next section. However, you only need to extend the bottom 2, which are the first and third one. And we're gonna do a really, really tough jump to skip the second one. Very nice. That only has like a 4-frame window or something, so it's not super bad, but I'm glad that we got a first try. Now we just gotta do this little color puzzle to open the door. Coming into this room, we can blow up this metal wall with exploding blaster bolts as opposed to blowing a little turret. And normally, here we need to build an elevator where we can just backflip into a double jump slam, or backflip into a slam to hit the door early. This is disco skip, really dumb skip where I'm gonna try to clip out of bounds by building this speaker. Oh, okay. We got a first try, very nice. And we skip building a disco party. So that's very nice. We got the 2 hard strats in this level first try, which is very, very relieving. So now in this end room, we gotta put these bombs into place in order to open up these targets. Normally, to blow up these targets, you need to go to a big turret at the end of the level. But thanks to exploding blaster bolts, we don't need to do that. We can just shoot them. So, just gonna shoot that one, and then shoot that. There's absolute just chaos right now, but there we go. Shoot 2 targets. And that's the level. So that is second level down, and that actually went pretty well. I'm pretty happy with how that went. So it is now time for the 3rd level of episode 6. This is Speeder Showdown, and actually contains the biggest time-saving single skip in the game. There is a 5.5-minute skip in this level, which all of the runners are very thankful for the fact that it exists, because what it skips is a really, really horrendous part of the game. So normally, in this level, you have to do a speeder chase, which is really annoying. There's 4 sections to it, and each section destroys one part of that barrier you can see at the top of my screen. And once you destroy all 4 parts of the barrier will go down, and you can go to the next part of the level. But we can go over the barrier using a cool little strat that we'll get to see in a second. When you're in a vehicle and you have both players called in, if you drop out one of the players, as opposed to dropping out, they just get dismounted from the vehicle. So I'm gonna put them in the corner, do a backflip, and at the peak of my backflip, drop out and get out of the vehicle and jump over the barrier. And that just saves 5.5 minutes, so pretty cool. Cool little skip pulling the levers there because the trigger for the door sticks out just a tiny bit. In this room, we need to shoot these 4 satellite dishes. I'm going to have player 1 jump into the AT-AT and start shooting them, while player 2 pulls the rest of these levers. So here I'm actually going to jump out of the walker because it'll keep moving during the camera pan on its own. I normally can't do that. And then jump out. And then once we pull these 2 levers, the level will be over. There we go. Very, very short level thanks to that very nice skip that we had. Okay, on to the 4th level of episode 6. This is Battle of Endor, which is currently the longest level on the run. It might not be in a few weeks from now. There are some optimizations coming through that may make it the 2nd longest, but as of right now, it is the longest level on the run. Part of the reason why it's so long is because of this opening cutscene here. Alrighty, so about to hop into the level here. Right off the bat, I'm going to switch player 1 to R2-D2, and player 2 to 3PO. Oh wait, no, Wicket, and then drop out. So in this room, there's all sorts of little puzzles you need to do, but thanks to these very conveniently placed railings, I can skip all of them. So I'm going to land on this railing here, and just fly right over. So first room down, every skip. And now here, there's another power-up I'm going to grab to make me invincible, and a little bit of 1P2C here. Player 2 is going to head up at the vent. Player 1 is going to push the box and pull the lever. And while I'm waiting for the box to come up, I'm going to clear out all these hooks that the enemies are coming up from. Push the box into place, and this will bring up the elevator. And if you remember from episode 4, I mentioned that you can get ghost hearts that make you invincible if you die right before you load the next room. So I'm going to jump with, okay. Jump with player 1. What? And die right before I load the next room to get ghost hearts, which will make me invincible, which will be very, very nice. This is hill roll, little jump, just save like a 20-second puzzle. Pretty cool. Okay. So if there's one thing about Endor is that the AI in this level is really, really dumb. So I'm gonna try to play this in a very certain way. I'm gonna move Han over here and then switch player 2 to Wicket. Step on this button. Hopefully, nice. They all went to their correct button. Now here we're gonna build a grapple hook for our buddies to get up. And I need to make sure they use the grapple hook at like the same time, because if they use the grapple hook staggered, then the person who used it later will just jump back down for some reason. That was weird. So I kind of pushed them so they used it at the same time. So here I am kind of blowing everything up, and I'm doing a little strat where I shoot right before I do my double jump roll. And that's a way to shoot without losing really any time at all. So if I like jump, shoot, roll, the timing on that is actually kind of tight. Alright, here is another instance of tricking the AI. By standing right here, they think that I'm on top of the bunker, so they will warp up there themselves. And now is kind of a weird strat. So my last respawn point with Chewie was up top. By getting Chewie stuck in this corner here, he will try to free himself by warping back up to the top, but he'll get caught in the door, and I can switch to him and get into the bunker without opening the door. Kind of a lot to take in there, but all we need to know is that I'm now in the bunker without doing the puzzle to get in there. So there you go. I'm gonna press these two buttons at the same time to overlap the camera pans. Press the third one. And I still have those ghost hearts, so I do not need to worry about player one like blowing himself up or anything. Alright, so when you pull this lever, a little camera pan is going to play. I'm going to try to skip it. I went a little early. That's fine. I will be able to definitely skip another one coming up. That's a little bit easier to skip. So coming into this room here, another instance of tricking the AI. By standing in this corner, Wicket thinks that we are already in that back room. So he warps in there. Lets us get in there early. If I drop out right when that lever gets pulled, then the camera pan for that lever gets skipped. Very nice. So now we're going to head up this elevator. And this is the fourth and final lever. So we needed to pull 4 levers to open the back part of the bunker. And so now these levers will come up. And then we can build these 4 bombs. And there we go. That is the longest level complete. Alrighty. So this is level 5 of episode 6, and this is sort of, obviously we're playing the episodes out of order, but this is sort of supposed to be like the final boss battle. It's the fight against the Emperor, and it's a pretty long fight. The Emperor has 20 hearts. You go all around the level, and it's pretty intense. So yeah, it'll be fun. So we're actually not going to be doing the fight. Instead, we're going to be luring him into a corner. We're going to lure him into this corner, kill him, or let him kill me, drop out player 2, and push him off the edge. And he will die instantly, and the level is over. That's the whole level. That is the Emperor fight, the epic final battle. Yeah, very accurate to the movie. Just throw him off the edge. That's all you gotta do. Alrighty. So now that level is done. A very, very short level. Just threw him off the edge. Now it is time for the final level of episode 6. And we gotta blow up the Death Star. So let's go do that. The first room of this level is the second major RNG part of the run. So there are ships that will fly around, a bunch of TIE fighters, TIE bombers, everything. And 1 in 3 ships will have a torpedo on the back. I need to get 8 torpedoes just by attacking and killing the ships. So hopefully the 1 in 3s are in our favor and we get a lot of torpedo ships. All right. So here we go. I already see one off in the distance. That's good. There's 1. There's 2. There's 3. Ooh, good start. There's 1. Oh, I just saw one go right past me. Hopefully he comes back around. There we go. 5, 6. And there's the final 2. All right, that was pretty lucky, actually. I would gladly take that. Gonna grab this power up here. And now we're just gonna have to sit here for a few seconds for some reason. Then a cutscene will play and we'll head into the Death Star. That's the name of the level 2. Alright, so we're gonna call on player 2 here. Get some torpedoes. Oh, okay, I only got 2. That's fine. Gonna destroy this barrier here. Oh, that was actually really good. Torpedoes can be really, really wacky and kind of fly in unintuitive directions. Okay, I died. Hold on. Gotta pick my torpedoes back up. Okay, I only got 1, but that's fine. So sometimes torpedoes will kind of spaz out, not go where they're supposed to. And this is a prime example. They like to get stuck in this door here. Hopefully that doesn't happen. It did not happen, so we're good. So now we need to destroy all these little pieces on the wall. You don't want to get too close or they'll zap you. Oh, come on. I can't get this one. TIE fighters keep taking my focus. Alright, so this is the red brick. It's in this. Oh, okay, this shot. The torpedo hit the TIE fighter instead of the door. Need one more torpedo to destroy the core, which should just come out of it. There we go. And I'll go grab the red brick. Almost didn't get it, but we got it. So that red brick is infinite torpedoes, so now I won't have to worry about picking up torpedoes for any more of the run, which will be very useful in a level in episode 5. Yeah, we are now in this final escape section. This is just an auto-scroller. So I'm just like holding down an attack. And that'll bring us to the end of episode 6. So we have now completed episodes 1, episodes 2, 4, and 6. So all we have left is 3 and 5, and the next episode we're going to go to is 3. Okay. So just like at the end of episode 4, so this is the end of level cutscene, and then it'll play the final cutscene to conclude the episode. But the game saves before that, so I'm going to wait for the game to save, and then I'm going to just close and reopen the game because that is faster than watching the cutscene play. Because that is a long cutscene. Alrighty, let's get back into our file. And even though we did grab the Infinite Torpedoes red brick, I'm not going to buy it right now because I don't need it for episode 3. I'm going to combine it with another red brick that I'm going to collect in episode 3. So it is, unfortunately, auto-scroller time. This is the one like full auto-scroller in this game. So now's a good time to go grab some breakfast for my American friends. It's bright and early. There is one strat I will be doing here though, and I'll be playing the level with 2 players called in. And the reason is because for whatever reason, when you have 2 players called in, these ships will kind of push each other forward. And throughout the entire level, that'll save like 6 or 7 seconds, I think. Somewhere around there. So it's a pretty small time save, but it's, once you practice enough playing this level with 2 players in, it's not super challenging. So may as well do it. Yeah, it is just a 3-minute auto-scroller. We are flying through the sky. So another thing I'm also doing is whenever we kind of turn, I'm pulling the ships in the direction that we turn. That is like a very, very small thing, but kind of helps the camera move a bit faster in the direction you're trying to go. All of this stuff is just very, very small time saves, just to make this any bit faster. So kind of a side effect of doing all these small time saves is you actually kind of get desynced in the level. So there's all these like ships that normally try to attack you. And you'll see that like they're still kind of coming through right now, but as we slowly get more and more ahead of where we're supposed to be, the ships don't account for that. So eventually, the ships that are supposed to be shooting us will be just like behind us. So here, we actually are going to grab a red brick, and this will be the fourth and final red brick that we pick up in the run. And this one loses no time to grab because we are in an auto-scroller. It is just chilling right here. And that is the other red brick we'll grab on our way to episode 5, which I'll explain more about when we get there. But for now, I want to make sure, this part of the level can be kind of chaotic. I want to make sure that I don't die. So make sure, all right, I'm at full hearts with both players, so that's good. Alright, we're coming up on the end here, this final section. Oh. Okay, well, I died. That was really unfortunate. Alright, well, let's try that again. Actually, if you die here, it gets rid of all the ships. So now there's nothing here. There's nothing that we can die to. It's okay. Small little time loss there, but we are finally out of the auto-scroller. So let us continue. This is the second level of episode 3. This is Chancellor in Peril, and this level is absolute chaos. So I'm going to turn on Fast Force. I am not going to turn on Exploding Blaster Bolts because playing this level with Exploding Blaster Bolts is crazy. Not something that I want to do. Alright, so here I'm just going to drop out player 2 once I die, and now we're playing a game of dodge the bullets. Hopefully. That's fine. We only died once. Alrighty, so here we're going to 1v2, so you've got to kill all these. I'm going to kill all these droids. So I'm kind of going to split up here. There's 2 packs of droids, so one player will kill one pack, one player kills the other pack. And that frees R2. So we can get this bomb and progress onwards. Okay. Well, I didn't really have much of a fighting chance there. Alright, so this is the Count Dooku fight. So normally this fight goes kind of in a pattern, so you do 1 heart of damage, and then he'll do sort of an electricity attack. But you can actually skip the electricity attack by doing a perfectly timed Jedi Slam right when he starts the attack. So you didn't even get to see it there because I got it. So I'm jumping to sort of help myself time it. And now, there we go, perfectly timed again. That is called a cycle skip. We're going to try to do it one more time. Very nice. Got all 3. Alright, so in this room, there's going to be this wall coming in behind us. But by walking back and walking back forward, our team warps to the end, for some reason. So I'm gonna just call them in now, and they're at the end of the room. Nice little time save there. Now we have these little gas pipes here. Just gonna jump right around them rather than turning them off because we can do that. And use the panel and cutscene. There we go. We have one more little room here, and then that'll be level complete. That went pretty well. The cycle skips in the Dooku fight, if you miss them, absolute chaos can break loose. You don't want to miss them. It's really, really bad if you do. So we're going to switch to 2 Jedis here, because we got to force 2 levers at the end. These Magna Guards are going to chase us, but for whatever reason, they just kind of stop after a bit. So we just pull the levers and end the level. So coming up here, this is 3-3 General Grievous, the General Grievous fight. And this is the shortest split in the run, including the cutscenes. It's just over a minute long. We're going to do a very, very strange strat here. I'll just wait till we get to demonstrate it, but I'm going to be changing my game resolution, which means that it's not going to be taking up the entire window for a second, but hopefully, okay, well, it'll be fine in a second, but I apologize in advance for the technical strangeness, but this is going to help us save a lot of time here. But by lowering our resolution, when Grievous runs away here, if I try to shoot him, I can start doing hearts of damage. And I'm just going to keep repeating this process over and over until he's dead, rather than doing the fight how you're supposed to do it. So this is really, really fast. He doesn't really want to take hearts right now, but there we go. Come on, almost there. It's kind of RNG. There we go. Now let me fix the game really quick. Should hold on. Hold on. There we go. We're back.
There you go.
All right. I was kind of worried that that would cause some issues, but that is a pretty important strat in the run, so I did need to change the resolution. But luckily we are back and going once more. That is the only time we need to do that, so hopefully that is the only technical thing that comes up. So we're on to level 4 now. Really, really quick level. Kind of a wonky strat that we had to do there. At this point, I'm going to turn Exploding Blaster Bolts on. It is very helpful on this level. So this is a really tough 1v2C here. I'm going to be trying to force these lights with Yoda while Chewie kills the enemies. And that'll start this Free the Wookiee section. There's 3 Wookiees that are currently imprisoned, and I need to free them. So the first one is up here. I'm going to kind of run to the right with Yoda while Chewie frees him, and then just drop out Chewie once he kills them. And as you can see, we're already way over here. Second guy, I'm going to kill like this. There we go. And then the final guy is going to be right over here. And that is the Free the Wookiee section completed. Alright, so onto the beach section, we need to lower sort of like a drawbridge. Okay. Alright, so once we force this flower, we're gonna shoot these targets from the ground rather than going all the way up. Small little time save there. And now we're just kind of running to the end of the level. There is a little pixel jump, if you look at Yoda, that I'm going to do. For whatever reason, you can just jump off that wall there. And we'll get Chewie up here using the walker. And another kind of like pixel jump I can do right here to get up there. And then force the platform, and now this final section, we just need to retrieve Yoda's little ship, and that's the end of the level. By the way, to the tech crew, I can't hear the donation reader, so if you just want to let me know when I'm good to go again.
Hi, yeah, I am Trainer Anada. I'm here as your host for a couple of hours. Just letting you know, we are raising money for Urban Arts and its School of Interactive Arts for underprivileged kids. So definitely keep those donations coming in as we go, and good luck to all our runners. Let's keep enjoying this LEGO Star Wars.
All right, awesome. So coming up here, I just cleared out all the enemies. I'm going to be doing a bit of a warp called Library Skip. I'm going to pan the camera up, jump, and call in player 2. I missed it. Try it again. There we go. And by panning the camera up and jumping there, I trick my AI into thinking that that door is open when it's not. So I can skip the entire puzzle there. You have to like pull all these levers and do all these little parkour puzzles, it's a pretty good time save. So that is level 5 of episode 3 complete, and if it isn't apparent at this point, episode 3 is the shortest episode. We are just kind of blasting right through this episode. And this is the final level. It starts off with a pretty tricky strat. Similar to Chancellor in Peril, where I had my character warp to the end of the room and then call them in. I'm going to do the same thing here. So I'm going to walk into this corner, and my AI will warp to the end, and I'm going to try to call them in. But timing it is really tough, and I don't know if he's going to live or not. There we go. Okay, we got it. Alrighty. Step on these buttons here, and we're gonna have player 1 go ahead. Normally you can like stop those flames in the middle of the screen by pulling the lever, but it doesn't really matter. I'm just gonna leave player 2 behind because right here a cutscene will play that'll just warp them both to the final room. Alrighty. So in this final room, we're going to do some scary parkour over the lava. This part is not so bad, but this little structure at the end here, which we call the house for some reason, jumping off of it can be kind of buggy. It likes to kind of eat your jumps, so hopefully, okay, that should make it. There we go. So this is the final duel. However, I'm just going to let the AI kill me. I did that not correctly, but that's the end of the level regardless. Alrighty, that is episode 3 complete. Just like before, we're gonna wait for the game to save and then restart it to skip that end cutscene. Alright, gonna reopen the game real quick, and that once again skips that end cutscene, which is a pretty chunky time save because the end cutscenes like to be really long for some reason. So, we have now completed episodes 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. So we just have episode 5, which will be the final episode. But real quick, we have 2 red bricks we need to buy. The infinite torpedoes we grabbed in episode 6, and the vehicle smart bomb, which we grabbed in 3-1. But here we go. Episode 5, final episode. And the longest cutscene in the game, actually, right here, 1:40. So, take a quick breather as we get ready to head into the final episode of the run. 2:40. Alright, we are almost into the level, and this is going to be the first of 2 ship levels that are in episode 5. And it is a pretty big RNG level, not at the start, but the final arena of this level has a pretty big RNG factor to it. For now, we're going to start towing bombs and blowing up walls. There we go. We are now going to grab a power-up from this rock, maybe. Nope, okay, that's fine. So this barrier we can skip by doing a flip and calling in player 2 at the peak of it, and they just go right over. Oops, gonna turn our extras on now. And we're going to skip this barrier by doing a flip this way to get over it. And we're now in the arena. Now, the extra I grabbed in Battle of the Coruscant, the auto-scroller, the reason it's useful is because of right here. This is the only useful part. If I hold down the special button, it'll make everything on screen explode. So now I'm just going to kind of do laps around this arena, holding the special button, and everything will just blow up. So that's the first wave. So now I'm going to do that again. Alright, that's the second wave. The third wave is going to spawn some AT-ATs. And unfortunately, Vehicle Smart Bomb does not work on the AT-ATs. We actually have to kill them the old-fashioned way. It looks like that guy. Oh, there's one over here. Look at this guy. So while player 1 does the tow, I will bring a bomb over with player 2. Same thing here. Player 1 is going to start towing. Player 2 going to grab a bomb, hopefully. There we go. And then drag it in. So that's wave 3. We got 1 wave left. Right, he's right here. Grab bomb real quick. Sorry, there's a lot of stuff I need to focus on here. And then hopefully the last guy shows up relatively quickly. There we go. Alright, awesome. And that is the final wave, and that is level complete. So the RNG there is really just kind of like how quickly everything spawns and where the AT-ATs choose to spawn and everything like that. There's probably about 40 seconds of variance from very, very good to very, very bad. That was above average for sure. Like, that was actually pretty good. So we'll take it. Okay, second level of episode 5, Escape from Echo Base. This level, it's not a super broken one. It's just a lot of good movement, a bunch of small optimizations, which I will try to cover as we go through. Alright, so right off the bat here, we need to build this bomb. And normally it's like on a timer to when it blows up, but instead of waiting, I'm just going to shoot a bullet at the wall. Oh, I died. Whoops. I was too far right with Leia. But I can blow up the bomb instantly by doing that. So that's the first room. Second room is just pushing this fireplace into the correct spot to melt the door. We basically just do nothing while we wait for it to melt, just kind of go in circles. But here we go. I need to clear out all the enemies here. So you may notice I left the guy behind me alive. There's actually a reason for that. In this next room here, I would build a bomb cart, and normally a camera pan will play showing the bomb cart like going into a pile of rocks. But by leaving the snow trooper alive, well, I missed it anyways because I died, but by leaving the snow trooper alive, it prevents you from getting teleported into some corner. So it allows you to ride the bomb cart all the way down, but unfortunately I died on the bomb cart, so I missed it. That's okay. We're gonna run over here. Now we can get 3PO. And now we can head into the main room of the level. So this room, I'm going to hopefully get a power-up from this box. This power-up, okay, nice. That power-up has a tendency to literally just fall through the floor and despawn, but luckily, it did not happen today. So this power-up is very nice, helps us build that panel faster, and makes me not die. Did fall in the hole there, whoops. I meant to shoot that bomb there, but 3PO got in my way. So here, we need to go down a slide and hit 5 buttons, but you can't hit all 5 in one go. So we'll have my first player hit these 3, and then player 2 hit the other 2. Alright, coming up here is actually the final room of the level, and there's a pretty big jump that we're going to do that skips freeing the Tauntauns and doing a whole puzzle with them. If I, on the right side here, I'm just going to jump on top of the Falcon off of that little banister, whatever it is. And that skips an entire section that saves like 40 seconds, super simple jump. So there you go. And we build the Falcon, repair it, and that is the end of Echo Base. So with the second level complete, we're now going to head into the second ship level of Episode 5, which is going to be our final ship level, and it's going to be the final large RNG factor of the level at the very end. So in this opening here, we got to destroy 16 turrets. There's 4 per ship. I'm gonna split up my players here. Have the X-Wing destroyed 12 of them, and the Falcon destroyed 4, because the Falcon has a much slower fire rate. And we'll kind of come together in this last one. And once we kill all the turrets, we just sit here for like 10 seconds for whatever reason. So I can just kind of fly around. There's a red brick back here. I didn't get it. It does nothing. So here we go into the level. This level is kind of really boring, if I'm being honest. I think they could have done a lot more with it, but you know, this is what we got. So we're going to fly through these asteroid fields, and normally you need to destroy the asteroids to get torpedoes, but since we have the infinite torpedoes red brick, we can just fly directly to the barriers and just destroy them. And that's what we do. That's the first room, and as you can see, once again, we just have to fly through this massive asteroid field and do literally nothing. So we're just kind of chilling for a bit. Get a mini kit, why not?
So everyone watching, maybe this is a good time to get your donations in. You know, uh, let's support WiiSuper in this awesome run. The Lego Star Wars, all the other games we have coming this week, and we do also have a couple of prizes you can put in. If you donate even $15, there is you can put in for an SM64 game signed by Pace Runners. So, you know, maybe put that money towards a good cause.
Definitely. Well, here we are. This is the big RNG factor, is this spinning boulder. And it spins in random directions, random speeds, and there's 6 targets that I need to hit. I need them to come to the front to hit, because if they're in the back, the torpedoes just kind of get stuck, and then they just won't hit. So sometimes the targets like to kind of just sit on the back for a really, really long time. But hopefully, they all kind of just make their way to the front. I've hit 5. So if I can hit this last target pretty soon, then I'll be pretty happy. But here it comes, maybe. There we go. Nice. That was pretty good RNG too. Overall, between all of the RNG sections in this run, since this is like the final one, this was a pretty like good RNG run. Like definitely top 25% RNG out of all the runs I've done. So pretty happy with the RNG in this run. Here we go, halfway done with episode 5, which once again, for anyone coming in just now, this is our final episode because we played the episodes a little bit out of order, so we only have 3 levels left. We are now making our way into Dagobah. Alrighty. So right off the bat here, we need to build these ramps for R2, but we actually don't need to build the second one. We can just kind of shove them up like that. And in this room, we can skip the entire room by just flying to the end with R2. I'm going to shoot the plants with Luke, and then R2 can just fly over to the end and skip. I don't even know what you need to do in this room, but we didn't do it, so there you go. So here, we're gonna build some buttons to get across the water. It actually is possible to get across this water without pressing these buttons, but it's pretty difficult to do, so I'm not going to be doing it today, but it is a cool little strat. So at this point, I'm going to do a little strat here where I trick R2 to go past a cutscene trigger. Using an audio cue. So by standing on that rock, R2 tries to pathfind to me, and in that process, he goes past a cutscene trigger. And by calling him in, once he goes past it, and then dropping out player 1, and then the AI player 1 also walks past it, I skip playing the cutscene, and that cutscene takes you to where you meet Yoda, and he trains you to be a Jedi. So it skips an entire room of the level. And it saves like 50 seconds or something, so a really, really nice time save there just by tricking the AI to going past the trigger. I'm gonna do a little bit of character management there. And now we are doing a bit of Yoda movement. Yoda is, in story mode, one of the fastest characters in the game, because when he's double jumping, he moves fast. Do some movement there. All right. So coming up here, this is the epic Darth Vader fight, we're going to see kind of an interesting mechanic used here, where when a camera pan is playing, if you are repeatedly forcing an object, you can move during that camera pan. So I'm going to keep tapping this box so Yoda can get down and then put Luke on the box. And then when I kill Vader, a camera pan is going to play of this door opening, but once again, by just tapping the box, I can move during the camera pan rather than it freezing me in place like it's supposed to. So we're going to raise a bridge here, bridge. Oh, okay, well, don't go in the middle of the bridge or I'll die. And we'll come up here, push the box, and we'll build a R2 panel that'll let us reach the end of the level. While Yoda's building it, I need to defend him from the bats. Oh no, no. I don't know where that bat came from, but getting attacked by a bat there resets the building progress by like almost entirely. Now I'm gonna put Yoda here because he needs to force up the X-Wing. If you try to force this up with Luke, it just doesn't work because he's not strong enough or whatever. But with Yoda, we can force it up, and that is the end of the level. 2 levels left now. Alright, it is time for the second to last level, and this is Cloud City Trap. And ironically enough, this is the hardest level in the entire game, and it's right at the very, very end of the run. So this is what's gonna make or break the run. I'm hoping I can get everything in a reasonable amount of time here. So we'll see how it goes. Alrighty. So right off the bat, we start off pretty simple here. We're going to use this R2 panel to extend a bridge. Get inside. So this door, normally to open this door we need to build a turret, but because of exploding blaster bolts, if I'm holding a power up and deflect a bullet, if it lands close enough it'll just blow up the door, which is pretty nice, so we don't need to build the turret. I'm going to kill all these troopers here with the power up. And here is the first of many hard tricks. In this first Darth Vader fight, it is possible to skip this fight by just jumping across the gap. But this jump, I need to time within a 2-frame window between the first and the second jump. Yeah, too soon. So the unfortunate part about missing this jump is every time I miss it, I need to go back and get a new helmet, because I need a helmet to progress to the next room. And I'm on an input delay that I'm not quite used to as well. There we go, second try, very nice. So first hard trick down, and it's not gonna give us any break because we are on to the second really hard trick. So this is DV2 skip, or Darth Vader Fight 2 skip. I'm going to go on this elevator, line up R2, jump on the panel, and I'm gonna pause buffer to help me time this. I'm gonna push forward now. Oh, let's go. All right, that's the first part. I'm clipped out of bounds. I need to get really close to the floor and then walk under it into the door. First try, let's go. All right, another 3-frame window jump. First try. that jumps a 3-frame window too, right there. Now we jump off this panel. We still have our helmet. We have not died a single time since getting it. Oh, there we go. That is really good. I'm really happy with that. We will take those. That should be a sub 4-minute split, which anyone, even in like world record attempts, sub 4 split is fantastic. All right, hardest level out of the way, and we are on to the final level of the run. So this level is, it's deceptively hard. I don't think it'll be as hard right now because I'm not on like world record pace or anything, but as the final level of the run, it can always be a little bit stressful, and there's a couple somewhat precise tricks we need to do to get through it. Alrighty, let's do this. So right off the bat, gonna grab a power up with player 2, while player 1 runs ahead and chases Boba. So coming up here, we're going to do a little boss fight with Boba, and we can get some like double hits if we time our shot correctly. So I'm gonna do a roll and then do like a spam shot. Got 2 hits there. Oh, I died. Got 2 more hits there, down to 1 heart. He starts to flee this way, so I'm just gonna get a head start. And coming up here is a really big skip. So rather than chasing Boba like you're supposed to, and you chase him down, you trigger a cutscene, and you do all sorts of stuff, I'm gonna jump at this door here. If I time it correctly, okay, I almost got that first try. If I time this correctly, it'll push me out of bounds, and I can just skip that entire sequence, because this is where you end up needing to go eventually once you rebuild 3PO and do a bunch of puzzles. I can just walk under the floor and get here really early. Compared to casual strats, that saves over 2 minutes. So really, really nice time save there. Now I need to bring a helmet to the end of the room. The troopers should de-aggro at this point, now that they think I'm one of them. Okay, come up here. I just need to clear out all the enemies here. And there's this magnet crane here that I'm going to use to bring the droids across. However, I'm actually only going to bring 1 droid across, just R2. Normally, you need to bring both across. However, thanks to a little skip coming up, I only need 1 of them. So I'm going to kind of push R2 here because he's slower than the character, so I just kind of push him ahead. Going to use R2 to extend the bridge here. And then I'm going to put him up against this box, and I'm going to push the box into him and then push him through the wall and get past this door without 3PO. You normally need 3PO to open the door, but I can just push him through. Camera will finally lock onto me. And it's kind of funny, so there is this gas here, and you're supposed to turn off the gas with R2 so the rest of your team can follow. However, you don't need to do that because when you hit this door right here, your entire team just warps to you anyways, so just leave it on. I'm gonna press these buttons to open the levers. And then we are heading to the final platform of the run. I'm going to open this door, I'm going to kill a bunch of stormtroopers, and the Falcon door is going to open. When I enter the Falcon, that is when the run will end. It's been a long journey to get here, but we have finally arrived. More guy, and then the door will open up, and time. There we go. That is LEGO Star Wars: The Complete Saga any percent. Just over 2.5 hours that run was. World record is a 2:25, so I would definitely recommend checking that run out. It's a really awesome run. And I just want to give a shout out to really just the top 10 leaderboard placements of this game. I'm currently 5th place, and this, out of every game I've ran, this is by far the most competitive one. And I think it's really thanks to everyone really pushing each other and motivating each other at the top level, bringing this to a game to a really special level of optimization that not a lot of games get to see. You know, we've all put thousands of hours into it, and I'm really happy to show off what all of that progress has led up to. So that's all I have for me. So I'd like to thank Pace for having me on, and see you later.
All into creative projects, and that helped me put together a very strong portfolio for college.
The best part about being in the urban arts community is the people that you meet. A lot of the people here have the same interests as me, so in the future, making friends here will benefit me and them and everyone around, because we all benefit from each other by gaining skills that other people had that I may need.
Urban arts helped me see myself differently by showing me that I can be a good leader. In the studio program, I was assigned the role as project manager, and fulfilling that role for the first time actually helped me realize that I have good leadership skills, and it really helped me to develop them.